Have you ever hung up wallpaper before and had sort of a mental breakdown? I have. Well, I thought this is going to be my third time doing wallpaper, and it's only one wall and it's in a tiny laundry room. How could it be that hard? Turns out the first roll was hard and everything went fine, but I wasn't fine. So you'll see in this video, it's sort of going to function a little bit like a tutorial, a little bit like a story time. I'm going to show you the process of hanging wallpaper in my small laundry room. Ready? Let's start from the beginning. So here I'm opening up my clear wall size. It looks a lot like Elmer's glue. It's an acrylic material that you put on the wall to help with adhesion and repositioning when you're applying the wallpaper. So all of my walls have been primed. They're smooth, but I'm putting this wall sizing over the primer to just help the wallpaper stick better. And if it's ever needing to be removed, it's supposed to help the wallpaper have easier removal. You can see when it goes on, it shines up the wall a little bit. When it dries, it takes the wall from a matte finish on the primer to kind of like a satin sheen. It's very easy to apply, and I just put it on everywhere. I didn't get super close to the corner, but I wanted it to overlap where I've painted that blue. Now I'm opening up my wallpaper for the first time, getting my first look at it, and I'm preparing for the day when I'm actually going to be wallpapering by getting my layout and my strips ready and labeled. So I needed about 8 feet, and I cut about 4 inches extra on top and bottom. Here I get my next piece of the roll and align it. I had to have a lot extra on the bottom because it's a 24-inch repeat. So if I had matched it up higher, there wouldn't have been enough on the bottom. So I have to scoot it down to the next match point and trim off the excess. Same thing on this side. Find your match to the original piece you laid out and trim. And this is what it looks like. I needed 3 full rolls for the wall. And one of those offcuts works for above the cabinet. I label all of my pieces in the order in which I want to hang them, just by 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to establish my plumb line to begin. I'll measure the width of the paper minus a 1/2 inch, and using a laser level, establish my starting line. Turn off power and cover your outlets. Okay, so I have all of my prep work done, the room is ready, and I have all of my things staged in order to get the paper ready to apply. So I'm going to open my paste. So this is what the paste looks like. It's kind of like frosting almost. I have a roller here in case I decide to use a roller. I don't know if I want to start with the roller or use a brush. I think I want to use the brush, and I have a roller here just in case I decide to switch. So I have the roll that I marked number 1. That's the first one that I want to hang. And I'm just going to double check. The one is marked at the top. So because I'm going to hang the top first, I'll paste the top first. I'm going to roll this out and paste along the edge of the table in sections about this big. Here we go. Okay. I have to clean that up. This is where things started to work up to the meltdown. Good thing is, this paste is very wipeable. I just had to wipe everything down, have my husband come in to hold the paper so it wouldn't curl up on itself. And I just wanted to get the glue on there quickly. So I used the roller instead of the brush, and I ended up liking that a lot better. And at this time, I was feeling very frustrated. I just wanted to get the wallpaper up. But the glue, glue dries, and so I felt like I've just got to put my head down and get to work. So I lined it up on that plumb line I established and then applied it to the wall, used the wallpaper brush to smooth it out. And the whole time my heart was just stressed. Well, that totally made me feel so defeated.
You got this.
That was so, hard. I need to wash my hands. Thank you for recording. Okay. Did I have a meltdown? Did that go wacky? Yeah, completely. I had a very big meltdown. But nothing was ruined. It just wasn't easy. And, ouch. And the edges were drying really quickly. I think my paste was a little too light-handed. So next one I need to put more paste so it doesn't dry out. But if it dries out on the edges, all you do is you just peel them up, brush a little glue in there, reapply it, and it's perfect. Cut around the cabinet right here. Just a little notch. It's about 1/2 inch. And cut around the outlet. So I am mostly recovered from that little meltdown. But to give myself a boost of confidence, I'm going to go and do over the cabinet. I'm going to do little pieces and give myself a little win before I tackle this next long piece. Because that's also part of the reason I was getting flustered, is because, it's a long piece. When I did my studio, here, let's go look at the studio. When I was working in here, I'm only working with a sheet that long. And so everything was just much more manageable. And this was paste the wall versus I'm using paste the paper. So different experience, but we'll keep on going. I ate a piece of chocolate, I calmed down, and then I decided, I think I'm just gonna go for the next big piece. So I applied the glue, folded the paper over onto itself to allow the glue to soak in, rolled the second half of the paper while my husband helped me. And I was so much more calm by this point. See, if the paper, if it's not aligned how you like it, you can always pull it back. That's the wonderful thing about this paste. So I just waited 5 minutes, and while I waited, I cleaned any of the glue that got onto the table for the next piece so it was clean. And this is the secret of all secrets. turn on a good playlist. It helps your mood instantly. So with a good playlist and a better attitude, I got to my next large piece. And it went so much better. It's a little awkward, but you just let it drop, hold it, overlap the crown molding, and line it up to the other paper. You don't have to get the whole piece, just that top 2 feet. If you get that, the rest kind of falls into place, and you can make little adjustments. So now you just get your brush and brush all the bubbles out. And that bottom half that's folded up isn't sticking to the bottom. So when the top is where you want it to be, then you can undo the bottom. Just unfold it, and then you can position that onto the wall. For outlets, just cut an X where the outlet is and turn the power off so that you don't accidentally shock yourself. And once there's an X, you can lift those little ears and cut them off. See right here, to reposition, you just pull the paste off the wall and brush it into position. With a scraper, press into that corner, and with a very fresh razor blade, with the scraper against the wall and the razor blade in between the trim and the scraper, you cut along that line. With a wet rag, just clean up any paste that got on the baseboards, the floor. Roll the seams. And if any glue squishes out, just clean your roller, and you can clean the paper with a wet rag as well. Now I'm moving on to my final long strip. Same exact process, align that seam, and then smooth the paper out from the seam. You're just going to work everything from that seam into the corners, and then press it up into the molding or the trim, and then using your blade against that scraper, cut the excess of the wallpaper. I slide both of them at the same time, and this scraper acts as a protection of the main wallpaper, so you don't accidentally get a cut in it. You do that same thing into the corners, and then cut away any openings. And I arrived at my smaller pieces that go above the cabinet. You can see that as paste gets applied to this paper, it relaxes, and it actually it expands a little bit. It gets slightly wider, just by a little bit, but it just relaxes and it becomes much easier to work with when it's becoming saturated. Fold that over so the glue doesn't dry as much. Let the paste soak in for about 5 minutes, however long it specifies, and then it's ready to apply. You'll match up that seam. This gives a great view of the process on a small scale. You can sort of slide the paper into place, and then using the brush to get all the paper smoothed out without any bubbles. Press that into your corner, and then using your razor blade with the scraper as protection, glide along the part you want to cut. If it doesn't cut all the way through, you just go right back over that same spot. Use a fresh blade as often as you need to. Sometimes every new strip of paper might need a fresh tip of the blade. Wipe any excess glue that gets on your trim or your ceiling, on the seam. Just wipe as you go before any of it dries, which it doesn't dry quickly, but it's better to just clean it when it's fresh. And then do the same thing to the bottom, pressing it into the corner and cutting off your excess paper. I just had one tiny piece left. I pasted that into the corner, and then I could put my wall vent back in, and the wallpaper's done. It turned out really beautifully. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's such a nice little accent in this room. If you've gotten to this point, you've seen the breakdown, you've seen the triumph, go ahead and like this video, and you can subscribe to my channel down below. As always, go get creative and make something you love.